I could just be one of those Christian influencers who posts about how Jesus is your bestie and I have a matcha and all the comments are just hearts and nobody's ever mad, nobody's ever triggered. Everything is just so completely unproblematic because that would be a lot easier, right? But no, Jesus looked at me and he said, "Oh, you are going into the trenches of spiritual warfare. You will be exposing deception on quite literally every level, from witchcraft to religion, and you're confronting Jezebel, all of these things that people want to avoid because it's not comfortable. That's your job, that's your ministry. So if you started following this page because you thought it was going to be an echo chamber of confirmation bias and cozy vibes, you're in the wrong place. Because unfortunately, this is my calling. So here we are. Astrology is demonic. Yoga is demonic. Don't forget it. See you later.
Amen. All right. Across time zones and platforms, this is Christian Conservative, your trusted source for bold, unfiltered news and analysis on the issues that matter most to Christian conservatives. From faith and family to politics and culture, we tackle the hard truths and stand firm on biblical principles. I'm KJ along with Michelle Talkington. How are you doing tonight, Michelle?
I'm doing well, KJ. Hey, everybody who's coming in on the chat and who comes in later. Good to see everyone virtually.
Yes, indeed. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. As you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience. Folks, join us as we expose the lies, defend our values, and fight for the truth in a world that desperately needs it. All right, Michelle. So let's get into that opening clip. I thought that was so us. What did you think?
It was absolutely us. I watched it. I just was like, yeah. I just had that conversation with a friend last night. I love how she ended it. She's like, look, yoga is evil. Like, she just threw that out there. Just by the way, it's tough when you think you're getting into this and you're gonna, change the world and it's gonna be love. And no, we found out it's not going to be that. We're going to walk in love and in truth. And truth is not all fuzzy feelings. It's not butterflies. It's not rainbow. It's not any of that. We are truth tellers. And it's tough.
It is. But you know what? We're built for it. I don't think God would have placed this in front of us and given us these platforms, even you not just with this platform we have, but with you and your campaign, and just being out in front of people, and you are not bowing down. You're telling the truth. You are who you are.
Yeah.
God has placed this on us because we're built for it. That's what I think.
Oh, we are, but it's not easy. You get a whole lot of hate, a whole lot of flack. And what's interesting, it's not just from the left. You'll get it from Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Because here we get into the doctrinal differences, and you'd be surprised at how many people just go off. And we've had that with Catholicism, and we even have in here differences of opinion. Like, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, look, I argue with a lot of different denominations. There's going to be little things, but I'm still going to tell the truth. If I don't find it in the word, or if you are telling me an interpretation that seems to be way far off, I'm just going to argue with it. Let's have a discussion. But man, the world doesn't like that. Doesn't like it.
And like you said, the idea of truth, people want to bypass that in all types of ways. Nobody wants to confront it, even if it's ugly, because a lot of things, people, we talk about here, it's not like she mentioned, the matcha and the fluffy, beautiful, lovey-dovey stuff. We get into the nitty-gritty, like sin. That's not all we talk about, but it is, a big portion of it. We're talking about things that the world, wants to either gloss over or platform, and put up and say this is okay, when we know God's word says it's not. So it's very confronting, exposing, but it is what it is, like she said.
Matcha. I've never had matcha, just so you guys know. So for me, it's caramel macchiato. And
Oh yeah, me too. I've had it a couple times. It is gross to me. It's like mixing greens with coffee. It's just not good at all for me. So, but you all sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. Did you feel sort of you understood what that lady was talking about, as far as your walk, your journey with Christ, and it's not like this lovey-dovey thing. You feel like you're the one who's going to tell the truth no matter what, in love, but you tell the truth. And some people don't want to hear it. Sound off in the chat. We already have one super chat here. All right, let's see here. We got Dallas. Hey, Dallas, haven't seen you in a while. So thoughts on Savannah Guthrie's missing mom case. Oh my gosh. Have you been following this, Michelle?
Absolutely. I've watched the press conferences. I've watched a lot of commentaries on various different news programs. It's suspicious, but it's also messy. It's been really messy on the side of the local police that were investigating. And I have a lot of feelings. First, I pray that she is found alive.
Mm-hmm.
Really found alive and well, but I'm looking at, just the crime scene, how it was opened up and it was closed and then it was open, and kind of mixed messaging coming from the local. Now we have, feds involved, and not everybody. My takeaway again, prayers, blessings to the family. I pray this ends up well, that they find her quickly. Time is ticking. We know that, but not everybody has access to celebrity status to have this seen. And what it reminded me of is, look at how big this is and how much media coverage this grandma is getting. And I'm not saying she should not get it. What I'm saying is that we have talked about Rachel Morin. We've talked about moms that were murdered. We've talked about parents, people that were abducted by these cartel gang members that this administration is trying to get rid of, and they don't get any coverage. And this particular case has gotten hours worth of coverage more than several others that are abducted on a regular basis, really. So I don't know if it's just going to highlight just how bad things are and how these cases are regular. And the law officers are doing this all the time, trying to investigate and find missing people. But when you have more money or celebrity status, then there's a great big, national attention and highlight on something that we should be covering all the time. This shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bizarre case for you guys who may not have been following it. It's Savannah Guthrie. She was a long time Today Show host, co-host. I mean, she was on back when Matt Lauer was on there, and of course, Kathy Lee and Hoda. Well, I don't think she's on there any longer, but because she had her own messy stuff going on. But outside of that, she is a news reporter, and so her mother Nancy Guthrie is 84, and she was last seen on Saturday night. That's January 31st. Okay, which now is almost a week, right? A week from now, yeah. So it's almost going on a week she's been missing after being dropped off at her home in the Catalina foothills near Tucson, Arizona. So this happened in Arizona. Authorities believe she was abducted against her will, with evidence of a struggle, including blood on her porch that DNA tests confirmed was hers. Now, as of today, no suspects have been identified. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, I quote, he says, according to today.com, "We believe Nancy is still out there. We want her home. The FBI is involved, offering a $50,000 reward for info leading to her recovery." So it's a multi-agency effort at this time. Again, she was dropped off around 8:30 p.m. on Saturday. Family noticed she was missing on Sunday morning after she didn't answer calls. And then it's just been awful from there. So Savannah Guthrie did a interview pleading for whomever has her mother to bring her home. We have that. We can just play a quick snippet of this. So heartbreaking. I mean, this is just, oh my gosh. All right, here it is. Let me see here. And so you think there may be something amiss other than, because it's weird, because generally when someone goes missing like this, it's not random. It's generally has something to do, whether it's someone they know, family, friends, someone that works there is often involved. But I don't know if that's the case.
And then most people don't have, again, this ransom note or the tips that are going to things like TMZ. Like, how do you get that kind of access? There are people kidnapped every single day. Children are kidnapped, and in Arizona, this is a major problem in Arizona. So they really should be telling the truth about what happens there. Yeah, there's a lot of large cartels.
Yeah, you're right. Here we go. This is Savannah Guthrie pleading with whomever has her mom to bring her back.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day, despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief. We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She's 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom.
There it is. So, I saw a lot of people asking why was she reading it. It did look odd. Now, the only thing that I can, suggest the reasoning behind it is it may have been written by some type of psychologist, psychotherapist, someone that deals in hostage negotiation, and they had to write it a certain way to maybe connect with the people that are holding the mom. That's the only thing I
Well,
can think of.
You're right, KJ. There are several experts that came on the news today and
Oh.
various different channels that I was watching, was following it closely. Many of them detectives and have done, or homicide investigators, you name it. So the consensus was that even this ransom may not be a true ransom letter. It may not be an authentic ransom note, but a method. Again, this is not from me. This is from other experts on other news stations, Fox, Newsmax, Newsy. I was watching a lot that suggests that this was put out so that they could have a pre-written response from law enforcement. They said it has law enforcement written all over it to actually garner the attention of whoever the abductors were so that they would have to respond. And think about that. They would say, well, we didn't write this, so who's trying to get ransom? So if it wasn't them, then that could be a response. It was intended to set up for a get in touch now. We want proof of life. And yeah, it did seem strange, but you're right. It was crafted. It wasn't just them speaking out, because any of us would be like, please just give her back. Just bring her back. I don't care. It would be all emotions. I know I would be a hot mess. But again, I pray that they find her. And the rest of us, though, I see a lot of comments. We would never get this kind of attention, certainly not for our mothers, let alone for us, because we're average people. So that's why I say this is interesting, that this is taking up so much media coverage and that so many higher levels of investigators are getting involved. So I'm interested to see how this turns out. Again, I hope they find her alive. There was blood on the scene. It was hers. And we think, it ends maybe where she was put into a vehicle or was actually to where she couldn't walk. So I pray this works out, but all of it seems a little interesting, suspicious, and it's getting so much coverage. I haven't seen this in a very long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I pray that she's brought home safely.
Yes.
With her being at such an age, I don't know if it's a wandering situation. I don't know. Then, as you mentioned, she's in Arizona. From what I had read previously, it's a remote area.
Yes.
So you never know what is going on, folks. I mean, this is why we talk about our borders. We have a lot of unsavory, nutty, just disgusting, evil people in this country right now that have crossed our borders and are really just lying in wait. I mean, President Trump, he's doing everything he can to deport these people, but I mean, realistically, there's no way he's going to be able to get out everyone that came in. We don't even know everyone that's come in. And we don't know whether it's going to be tomorrow, 2 years, 10 years from now, where, these, what people are saying, cells are activated. We don't know.
Absolutely not. And for you guys who've not been to Tucson, my family actually lives in Tucson.
Oh.
Some of my family, my mom's there, and just people, family, friends. Tucson, it's right next to the border. So it's like Southern California, where I'm originally from. It's easy to hop, skip, and jump across. And again, that's why there's a lot of trafficking, a lot of smaller gangs that infight, and they kidnap each other and they kidnap families. This is not uncommon there, which is again why I'm interested that they haven't mentioned that, because most people that live down there know that these things are not necessarily uncommon. What's uncommon, again, is that this is a celebrity's family member, and we pray for the best, but a lot of more media coverage has gone to this from the left and mainstream media that has gone to any other tragedy. So I really I hope they start paying attention to the other people that are going through things like this, the tragedies that are happening and the kidnappings that are happening. They really should be focusing on this as a whole while they let the professionals handle this case and bring this grandmother home.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna, veer off into conspiracy land a little bit, but you all remember, or I don't know if you recall, Savannah Guthrie was the lone Today Show reporter that came out and said she wanted to do a story. I believe it was on Epstein. This was years and years ago. Before he became such a mainstream, she had wanted to do it. She was investigating. She was going through the getting all the information, and ABC stopped it. They told her to stop. She was actually, I think she had gone so far, it was ready to go forward. I think she was the one who was going to break. The Clintons were involved, and they would not let her go on air. They told her to squash the story. Fast forward to today, maybe she was linked somehow into some information and they kidnapped her mother. Did you hear about that? That she was involved with the Epsteins? When I say involved, she was one of the early reporters that was going to release information on Epstein.
Yeah, it's one of those. There's been quite a few, and according to them, according to some of the others, they were told that they were threatened. They were told they were threatened with their lives, and so I mean, it's a conspiracy theory, yes, but would I be surprised? No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm not surprised by very much of anything. Again, let's just hope that they find her alive and that this wasn't just some type of botched. Obviously not just a robbery, but just really for money. The grandmother's been on television. She's made appearances, with her daughter. She's in a very wealthy estate that's kind of back in the cut. So whoever did this knows how to get down that street and get to her. So again, very suspicious. And I pray the investigation, I pray that the police department tighten things up and shuts things off and that the investigation goes well for this family.
Okay, and Dallas corrected me. Thank you, Dallas. He said that was Amy Robach. Yeah, it was Amy Robach. They actually look a little bit like. Okay, yes, thank you so much. All right, so we will see, folks. We will see. I know some people are commenting. Allie saying her husband used to work for the Clintons. He basically squashed the bad stuff they did that came out. Okay. So it's like these things always have tentacles. Like everybody's connected to the Epsteins. Did you guys see the news about Mondami's mom was connected to him? They have a photo of Zoran Mondami as a young boy, his mom, and Epstein. So I was just like, this is weird. It's so weird. But we will get to the bottom of this. And again, our prayers are with Savannah Guthrie's family and her mother. Lord, please bring her home safely. All right, folks. So we're going to get back on track here. But thank you for suggesting that, Dallas. We're going to get back on track, and we're actually going to change gears. And, we're talking about compassion. And so in the same way, I want to talk about this voter ID. So in the name of compassion, some liberals argue that requiring voter ID will harm Black voters because they allegedly can't access identification. But the question we want to ask you all, is that compassion or is it something far more insulting? Take a look at this next clip. These are several people that were being interviewed, asking them about people being required to have voter ID. Basically, the SAVE Act that is in Congress right now, and whether they agreed or disagreed with it and why. This is clip 2.
An opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad. I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. That's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
All right. So let's get into this. So basically, they're saying to believe voter ID is racist, you got to believe that black folks are less capable of obtaining basic documentation. We can't navigate systems, millions of others do, but we can't. And they require this requirement, or we require permanent intervention from the state. We are dumb. We are just idiots. What are your thoughts on this, Michelle?
I love that Rocco was calling out too, this. He says it speaks volumes of how white liberal people feel about black people, but who gave them that notion? Politicians. Which ones? A lot of black politicians. So let's just be honest. And you see in Georgia, and they're arguing this is about the minority. This is Jim Crow 2.0, Sleepy Joe and his nonsense, where black kids, don't know how to use that computer thing.
Right. Who doesn't know how to use a computer these days?
Oh my good Lord. And it's not everybody. So it's interesting where they played this narrative. So it's not, I don't know. They could have probably got other groups involved too, but it just shows that they are pushing the narrative for certain people to pick up on and use that as their fake talking points, right? That clip with all the white people they were interviewing, I don't know exactly what area they went to, but clearly they drank the Kool-Aid that was probably being pushed on their local news media.
Right.
Which means maybe they just don't interact in different circles. They've never asked anybody. And they make it so you're almost afraid to ask because you don't want to look like you're racist. So let's just buy into something that's actually racist. Like saying that black people are too dumb to get an ID. The same people that we argue if we get rid of programs, we're going to affect the black community. We can't do that because they need to get access to these programs. You can't access any of those programs. You can't get your EBT, any kind of card. You can't get that without an ID. They have forms of identification. This is such an old, ridiculous lie from the pits of hell at this point, because it may have played well generations ago, but right now, give me a break. And frankly, if you need help to get an ID, just, call the MVA, the DMV, call somebody, have them help you. You can request your birth certificate. There are plenty of instances where those hospitals don't have the records. There are ways to get your ID. So this is just nonsense.
It's nonsense.
A lie. It's just a lie.
Pure nonsense. Yes, it is. But then you have some Christians, liberal white Christians who believe that this is biblical compassion. And this is what I really want to touch on. And we kind of touched on it a little bit last week, this idea of biblical compassion versus counterfeit compassion. And so what I would call the counterfeit compassion is these lowered expectations, this perpetual dependency, excusing everything, unequal standards for your own good. This is what, a lot of what we hear from the left. Okay. And it's just not right. That's not what the Bible calls us to do or how we should act, is it?
Now, again, it's outrageous how far we've come that we're like a character. It's like we're a skit. I'm like, this feels like a Key and Peele skit. It's something bad. It's a bad movie. It's a bad show. And in fact, it's a satire. It's not even real. It's a comedy special when they come up with this. But there are, once again, like I said, real politicians pushing this narrative. Here in Maryland, Governor Wes Moore, No More is out there pushing this propaganda with his redistricting because it's all about Black people. And the same thing with voter ID. They're trying to make sure that never happens here. And in the state of Virginia, because it's all about Black people as if they don't travel out of state, as if they're not wealthy, as if in Maryland, we have one of the wealthiest counties for African Americans in the nation. Actually, my county right now is the wealthiest, the highest standard of living for Black people. Right. Everybody has an ID. So this is just a lie. And if they want to argue something, they can argue maybe a class system, rich versus poor. I know there's some comments in there about that. Sure. But even then, poor people still have to have IDs if they want to work, if they want to buy cigarettes, if they want to buy alcohol. There's too many things. If they want to get a library card. So it's just, and it's not compassionate. It's not compassionate to assume somebody is stupid, ignorant, an entire class or culture. That's not compassion.
As you mentioned, though, it normalizes dependency. And so that is right up the Democrats' alley. As you mentioned, a lot of Black Democrats, people in leadership, like the Wes Moores, like the Brandon Scott, Brandon Johnson, all of them, the media pundits, Joy Reid and Abby Phillips, all of them, they want to normalize dependency because the Democrat Party depends on the idea of offering social programs, government assistance in order to maintain votes. Okay. And as you mentioned, this is what, I mean, it's not just the white liberals that are pushing this. It's the Black folks, some Black folks too. Take a look at this next clip. This is clip 3.
You as white people are obligated to right wrongs that your ancestors did. White people want Black people to stop talking about it and don't make me feel bad about myself. And I'm not a bad person. And yes, you are. If you don't want to hear it, too bad. The responsibility falls on your shoulders.
What? Michelle, I mean, you said what she said.
I take that back. Maybe she's the one that can't get an ID because she is stuck and stupid. She's the one that can't get an ID. But no, and no. And when is this gonna end?
Right.
When is this gonna stop? When do we stop blaming one race for a few? No, in fact, that is so ungodly.
Nope. Yeah.
Forget about race. That is ungodly. Why should you carry the sins of your father and your father's father's father? No. Have you accepted Jesus? Let's go back to accepting Jesus Christ and being washed by the blood of the Lamb. Let's go back to just biblical principles. So this is not biblical. It is not godly. It is nonsensical. This is, again, a talking point. This is rhetoric. This is about having that victim mentality. Oh, boo-hoo. You have a camera and you know how to use it, and you can put up a post and get thousands of people, if not millions, to view your stupidity. And then you want to say that somebody has to feel guilty or should keep talking about these lies? This is over and done with. If you are here in this country, you have the right to be foolish and say stupid things because enough people, frankly, you want to talk about white people because enough of them died during the Civil War that you can spout your nonsense.
Right. More whites died in the Civil War than blacks.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Folks, as you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate the support. You got to hit that like button and make sure you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? We are Christian Conservative. We are on the Metro Conservative Media Network. So our sister station is Poppin' Politics, and then we have a brother station, Just the Guys. And so we're all here to provide you different ways we do it, but it's all conservative. So right here, we provide a biblical perspective on the news and pop culture. Speaking of that, let's move on to this next topic. All right. Good news out this week. So two of the most powerful medical organizations in America just slammed the brakes on so-called gender affirming surgeries for the babies, for minors. And the timing is no accident. So this week, the American Medical Association endorsed delaying irreversible gender surgeries until adulthood. This just makes sense. Just one day after the American Society of Plastic Surgeons recommended postponing breast, genital, and facial surgeries until at least age 19. So these aren't conservative think tanks. These are medical gatekeepers who just a few years ago actually were cheerleading these procedures. Take a look here. This Fox News went into it a little further. This is clip 4.
So I believe something profound is happening, especially today, the last couple of days. You have the first major medical organization to break the medical consensus in the transgender industry. And that's really important because the entire industry of gender medicine is based on medical consensus, because it can't be based on biological reality or medicine or anything else. The sole factor is consensus. It's what they use in the media, in politics, in their lawsuits, in the clinic rooms. So the medical consensus is the lifeblood of this practice. And the fact that a surgical organization came out against it is massive. It's like a nuclear bomb, because in the pecking order in the medical profession, the surgeons are at the top. When the surgeons say something, other people listen. When you read that statement carefully, like you said before, it's not only the surgical interventions for children, it's the hormonal interventions. Their final statement said they would not advise or recommend surgeries to be done in individuals less than 19 years old. Of course, their recommendations are going to apply to surgery, but they were clear in that statement. This is not just surgery. This is hormones as well. The other major thing, which is huge, overlooked in much of the analysis, when you read their statement, what they mention as a legitimate resource for their decision is the Trump administration's HHS report, which was released in May of 2025 last year by RFK and was authored, the lead author was Lior Sapir, brilliant guy. That report was the most comprehensive analysis of the fraud that underlied the entire industry. And it was designed to be a nuclear weapon against this awful practice. But
wow. So, folks, President Trump it's not just what we see that he's positive. His administration has had a positive effect. It's the underlying things as well, folks.
Yeah.
And guess what? Here's what they're not saying out loud. This shift comes days after a jury hit doctors with a $2 million malpractice verdict for surgically altering a 16-year-old who later detransitioned. So the question is, why now? Why did it take lawsuits for truth to matter?
Yeah, because before, the census that they had was that we can make billions of dollars in the surgical trade. Doctors could make billions of dollars. Pharmaceutical companies could make billions of dollars off of vulnerable children and their parents that needed to do better and who did not protect them. So they knew they could make the money. So the consensus is that, well, we'll make sure we give them the surgery and the medication. The census was that they weren't going to get thrown in jail for malpractice. That's what it was. They were banking on a Biden administration times 4. They were banking on a Kamala Harris being president. They were banking on elections not turning out this way. And so now all of a sudden, say what you want to say, RFK Jr., this whole administration is doing exactly what we voted for them to do and exposing the truth that this was demonic in its nature. This was evil and wicked to mutilate children permanently, to destroy their lives and get them addicted to medications, because the medications are lifelong. This is not some kind of, I'm just going to have an augmentation if I'm a female or a woman. I want to get bigger, boobs or whatever. No, this was mutilating. This destroyed an entire generation. Just spiritually, this was about destroying an entire generation. They can't have any more children, and they know that. How do you have doctors that knew that they were irreversibly changing normal, healthy human beings into non-reproducing, really monsters, like dolls, things that couldn't go back? It's just, this is actually normal. All that happened, we need to have a bell. We need to have a sound effect. Every time common sense wins, can we put a sound effect?
Oh, yeah.
Ding, ding, like common sense just won again. Common sense, regular and doctors, so many doctors did know this.
Yeah.
I love it. Common sense for the win once again, because regular doctors did know that. But they were facing persecution from media, from politicians, wicked, nasty. Any of you politicians who are still pushing this, the Gavin Newsoms of the world, who are still pushing for this to be okay.
The entire left.
Yeah. For children to be removed from their parents' homes because they don't want to affirm this gender mutilation and nonsense. It's so frustrating, but I'm so happy this happened. I'm so happy. This is one of many lawsuits that coming down. And Jay, what's funny is you're right. That part was quiet.
Oh yeah, that's why they did it. Yeah, these people don't care about these kids. They haven't suddenly decided to be, have a little bit of sense and compassion. No, it was basically because when institutions that once pushed this ideology suddenly say, wait, it's about liability. Okay, that is what has happened. There's a new sheriff in town with the Trump administration, with RFKJ, and they're not taking this stuff lightly. And when this jury came down and found inadequate disclosure of risk, they also found minimal psychological evaluation, unresolved mental health issues, consent obtained under pressure. They saw the writing on the wall. They saw the writing on the wall.
I'm in agreement. LJ put a comment in there that the American Psychological Association, American Pediatric Association, all of them, they should all be sued. Yeah. There should be lawsuits, not just on the doctors who performed the surgeries, but all of those so-called counselors and psychiatrists that said, yes, this child needs this. Yes, this 13-year-old who's in the middle of puberty needs to have an operation, needs to have medication to block their natural puberty. All of them should be sued. Teachers should be sued if they're in states like California where the legislation allowed them to be the parents instead of the parents. I mean, I would go after everybody at this point. Everybody falls.
Absolutely. Because guess what? This was never settled science. Okay. This has been true just like during COVID, when we understood that mask on toddlers does not stop the spread. This stuff was never settled science. Long-term studies have shown and continue to show higher overall mortality, significantly elevated suicide risk amongst surgically transitioned individuals. For years, medical and research groups warned adolescent brains are still developing. Long-term outcome data is weak or non-existent. Ethics of irreversible intervention on minors are deeply contested. This was always the case. The warnings were always there, but they were just politically inconvenient. And they found that these children became golden goose. These were their golden goose, because once you get them on this hormones and the surgeries, they know that they're going to need them for the rest of their lives. It was all about the money.
It was all about the money. And again, this was a financial gain for these doctors, for legislators who were pushing these laws and changes to making children in charge of their own mental health and physical health decisions. We've got states even here in Maryland where your 13-year-old has to give you as the parent permission to look at their medical records. I mean, it's a perversion. It's an absolute perversion to make sure that children are essentially emancipated. Even if they haven't reached that age, no lawsuits, essentially saying it's their choice now. And so, again, I hope that this goes back, and I hope those corrupt states and those laws that they were able to vote, and I hope that gets overturned. I hope this goes as far as it can possibly go, which is to put it back. Because unfortunately for those children that you destroyed, and adults, because this recommendation is 19 years old. I need you to wrap your head around. This is for 19 too. So they're not only saying, we're not going to wait till you're 18 and can make your own decisions. We think 19, and it may even be extended because some people are still going through puberty further than that. It needs to go back. Everybody's going down for this.
Exactly.
And good on everybody, especially our viewers and everybody who stood in this fight and said, this is wrong. So praise God for you for speaking out against evil, for speaking out against this when it wasn't popular. And we're still speaking out because apparently boys are still the same as girls and can still be in women's sports in many states. So again, there's still a battle on our hands, but this is great.
Yep. That's why, folks, we got to come together on platforms like this. Please, as you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and subscribe. Subscribe, folks. This is what we're here for. We're here to bring light to these types of issues from a biblical perspective. All right. So I want to keep going along these lines and talk about today. Today was a great day. It was the National Prayer Breakfast. Yes. All right. Did you guys watch that? President Trump made a statement that cut straight against the grain of modern secular politics. I mean, God is really using President Trump. He said that this May, America will move to rededicate itself as one nation under God. Take a look. This is clip 6. All right, let's see here.
Converts, and also the number of people going to church every week. To support this exciting renewal this morning, I'm pleased to announce that on May 17th, 2026, that we're inviting Americans from all across the country to come together on our national mall to pray, to give thanks, and we are going to do something that everyone said, like, that's tough. We're going to rededicate America as one nation under God. You know, a lot of people... Yeah, thank you very much. That's what I mean by the Spirit. It's so incredible to see it. I see it so much. I've never seen anything like it in 1 year. I thought it would take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to be where we are. Well, we've done it in, really 10 months. We're at 12, but now it's just getting to a level that we've never reached before as a country. But that includes religion. And maybe that's part of the reason that we're doing so well. There's such great spirit. It's all spirit, and it includes religion. I've always said, you just can't have a great country if you don't have religion. You have to believe in something. You have to believe that what we're doing, there's a reason for it. There has to be a reason for it. We're all working and we're behaving. I behave because I'm afraid not to, okay? Because I don't want to get in trouble.
All right. Wow. What did you think of that, Michelle?
I watched the whole thing, everything that was at least streamed, and it was hilarious. First he showed up late, which I love it. He's fashionably late. Trump shows up when he shows up, which is great. But look at all of the things he's doing compared to the last administration. But when he got in there, man, he talked about everything under the sun, and he doesn't hold back. He is in there. I mean, really, he's even cursing in front of all of the people there for prayer, but he is who he is. And I'll say this for him. We prayed, and we're supposed to pray over our leaders, but this is what I wanted to see. This is what I want to hear. One nation under God revised, like 2.0, 3.0. We're always, as long as patriots like those of us who are in the chat are alive, it is going to be one nation under God. And we mean what we mean, and we're going to stand on that. But for him to say it, he's not ashamed to say it. He's not afraid to fight for it. Good on him. He said so much in that room. It was amazing. It was wonderful. And I am here for it. I'm excited for this. We should be proud of that. We should be proud of our roots of this nation and stop apologizing for everything.
Exactly. I agree. This is something they have historically, I believe, every year, this national prayer breakfast. And it's okay. Yes.
It's the 50s. Yes.
Yeah, okay. And it brings leaders together across parties to acknowledge a couple things: that God's authority over nations, he is the authority, humility in leadership, and moral accountability. But it feels like since President Trump has been in office, I don't know, you let me know, Michelle, what you think. And folks, sound off in the chat. Do you feel like, although we have the left and they're always just degenerate and secular, I do feel like faith has been brought to the forefront nationally more so than ever? What are your thoughts there, Michelle?
I mean, he said that. He said when he got up and he said, fight, fight, fight. It was not just for this nation. He had an entire transforming life experience. You don't get shot at and not have a coming to Jesus moment, even if it's just for a millisecond. But he took that a lot further, and he has seen the success. God spared him more than once. So yeah, President, he's very open about it. He's not, again, ashamed, and it is steering the narrative. And look what he's doing overseas. So this is not just leaders across the aisle. These are leaders across the nation. The leader of the Congo was there. There were international leaders of other nations that were there for our prayer breakfast. That is incredible. And to be praying, in the name of Jesus. Yeah, he's a changed man. And we should all be able to recognize that from his tone when he was, president 8 years ago in his first presidency. He's just different. He's a lot more measured. If that makes sense. He says what he's going to say. He's not the whole, but he's going to say what he says, but he thinks about it. And he knows how to recover fast. If he says something that's maybe really insulting and he doesn't mean to, he's really quick at going back. He's a lot more thoughtful than he was before. So again, more measured. And I think that's only God. And look at his team that's around him. He has prayer in the White House. There's prayer. He really has done so much, and he defends Christianity. Incredible to see, because even professed holier than thou Christians that were in office never did this.
Never.
Once.
They said when President Trump, JD Vance, Pete Hegseth, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, yes, when all of them went to the TPUSA event for Charlie Kirk, and they were expressing their faith and Bible verses and things, they said that was the first time in many generations, if ever, that an entire cabinet or the main figures in a cabinet had done something like this.
Yeah.
Folks, do you understand what this rededication of one nation under God means? It basically, well, I'll say what it doesn't mean. So it's not the establishment of a theocracy, okay? It's not forcing religion like the left is probably going to paint it. It's not anything like that. It's basically acknowledging God. It's acknowledging God, not government, as the ultimate authority. And it's rejecting the idea that morality is subjective. It's restoring the belief that our rights come from God, not the state. And that is very important, because everything that the left, from they in the schools, the teachers own our kids, to the idea of even marriage, to the the list goes on, all of that, to the idea that the government is supposed to take care of you. All of those things are in direct opposition of acknowledging that our rights come from God, not government.
Yeah.
So it's very important that he's doing this. It's very important. And I don't think many people understand the extent that God is using President Trump for his glory. It really is.
They don't, because he's standing on faith in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen presidents throw around, well, God, and they've prayed maybe, but not in such a bold way to stand on it and then say, by the way, what's happening to the Nigerians, we're going to stop that because you're not going to come after Christians. By the way, over here, we're going to stop that because he's not just doing it here. He's doing it effectively across the nation from the position of power that God allowed him to have. This is just unheard of. And guys, this is like, for such a time as this, I couldn't be more excited and proud to have a president. You don't even have to like that, obviously, here in our chat, but for the left and for those who are Democrats and don't like him personally and don't like his style, are you a Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Because you better believe, just a matter of years, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they were talking about removing "In God We Trust" from our currency.
It's crazy.
And so here's a president saying, oh, no, and we're going to rededicate one nation under God.
Yeah. Yeah. And, again, we're not saying that America is perfect. America was never perfect, but it was anchored. It was anchored under one nation, under God. And when a nation forgets that, it drifts into confusion, chaos. We literally have chaos in the streets and tyranny. And so this rededication as one nation under God, it's not about the past. To me, it's about survival. It's more about the future. He's trying to get us back on track. He means really, really trying. And, we need patriots. We need Christian conservatives like you guys, like us, to help, to continue to push for it. Now, we want to take a look at this next clip. So I wasn't sure. I'm not going to say what I thought about this. Okay. I want you all to let us know. Do you think this guy was being shady? Okay. Take a look here. This is clip 5. So this is another clip from the prayer breakfast and of the prayer that someone made. I'm not sure which part this occurred in, but it was a prayer they said during the prayer breakfast. This is clip 5.
Goodness and mercy would announce themselves in his life in new and powerful ways. We pray that he would be mindful of the poor, and that he would be invested in the elevation, the alleviation of suffering happening on farms in the Midwest, in the families preparing to bury their loved ones in Minneapolis. Remind him that we are all Americans, all made in the image of God, and that none of us are free unless all of us have our freedoms protected. Many people are not lazy. Many people are simply tired. Many people simply are not okay. Matthew 25 teaches us that that our gifts are given from God and that we should show them with compassion towards others. But most of all, we pray that you would work out your will in his life. May we all do more for the greater glory of God, because when it's all said and done, we pray as Jesus taught us to pray. We ask that we surrender our all to Jesus. To all hope I give him freely. I will ever love and trust him, and in his life and presence live daily. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Amen.
Okay. Well, Michelle, what you think of that prayer?
It reminded me of the one, oh my goodness, who was she in DC? We had it on the clip. I can't think of her name. It's a throwback, and it was a slight to President Trump. I thought this was a slight. I think this was a prayer, that, like, let me get it, and maybe he was put up to it. Maybe as a congregation was like, I need you to say this, or some other, people got to him, but this did not seem inspired. This seemed like a let me put my political point in here while I'm praying during a prayer breakfast.
Well, first off, why is he reading it? Am I the only one that think it's weird when people read a prayer? It's supposed to be from your heart. Now, it's one thing if you're doing a speech about, biblical things, or you're preaching, and you want to, keep your thoughts in line, but you're literally supposed to be praying to God. Why are you reading it? What do you think about that?
It depends on the church that you grew up in. So this comes down to those doctrinal differences that we talk about. This comes down to, I've had a lot of friends, different denominations. I've had Catholic friends, they come in and they pray for events, and it's written down, and they actually literally read the prayer, and there are books with prayers in them that they read the prayer verbatim to the group. And to me,
I don't mind that. Now, if you're reading a prayer, like but to me, I would think you would come on and say, I'm reading the prayer by so and so. But what he's doing, it looks as though it's coming from him. Like these are his thoughts.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Down.
I've seen that where they've written their prayer, and then they've come and they've read the prayer they've written, again, from different backgrounds, different church backgrounds. So for me, again, I grew up Pentecostal. Y'all, you are never going to see me read a thing unless it's a scripture. And even then, I'm going to look down and probably say something different, because that's just how we pray. And I always pray just in this, like, Lord, lead me, like, let the Spirit use you kind of thing. And so, yes, KJ, for me and you, that is not a thing. And for this pastor, sir, that is not the style. My aunt used to say that to me. That is not the style. That's not cute to throw that in. Are we referring to the two people? Clearly, he's referring to the ICE incidents. He's just making those political points. There's a time and a place. And when you're the president, you can say what you want. Because I'm not going to lie, President Trump was saying some stuff.
Right.
I was like, whoa, what does this have to do with a prayer breakfast? But go ahead. If I had popcorn I would have been eating popcorn watching that this morning. That just was weird to me. You wouldn't get an invitation back from me to pray after that. Next 3 years, sir, or 2 years, you're not invited as a prayer person. You'll be invited, but you will not be praying over me as president. That's where I would leave that.
Yeah, I mean, number one, you were reading it. So you actually sat down and you said, I'm going to pretty much slam the president as I am in my prayer. And, it'd be one thing if he was off the cuff. So he was just, like most people do when they pray, you're just praying, you're asking, talking to God or whatever. But he's reading it. So he wrote it previously, and he's slamming the president while the president stands behind him in his so-called prayer. No, sir. No, sir.
That's because he knows he's going to get interviewed. If he doesn't know, he knows he's going to get interviews. Just like the woman that I was referring to, again, I will find her name, and she did the same thing. She just yes. I think we had her on or talked about her in there. It's just a slight. It's just for clicks. He's going to get interviews off of this. Please trust and believe. Anybody who watches, just like right now, we're playing it.
Right.
I promise you, there are going to be people that say, oh, that was awesome. Did you hear about the pastor who prayed this? So it's disingenuous for me. Now, it's not that I don't agree about praying for people that have lost loved ones and praying over the situation. Absolutely. I believe we should be praying over that. So it's not that I disagree. I disagree with the timing and the way that it was delivered.
Yeah, same here. I 100% agree that God pushed his politics into it. And I just, I am not the best prayer. I mean, if you have like a contest of people and their praying abilities, I am not going to win. If I had to pray to save your life and it was based off of the way the prayer sounded, you're dead. Okay, but I
hope it's based on your faith. Lord, let it be about your faith, KJ.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I still pray out loud. I mean, I'll still do it. because it's like the Lord is leading you, you know, and you want to be spare the moment. You want to, you know, do it where it's, you know, I just want to make sure God's hearing my heart. You know, it's not anything that's manufactured or anything like that. So, and yes, Allie said practice works with prayer. It does. That's another thing. The more you pray off the cuff, particularly if you're praying out loud, the better you do get with it. So, you know, I think that's a good thing. It was We Watch YouTube say here. He says, KJ, don't call on me to pray, you're dead.
That's what you said, KJ.
I know. I should have said that. Yeah. But yeah, because I'm a prayer warrior. I am a prayer warrior. But I'm just saying, like, to be so eloquently, you know, the prayers, that's not me. But so we critiquing or talking about this pastor's prayer at the National Prayer Breakfast. We'll take a listen to this pastor as he drops truth bombs on why President Trump should be a president that all Bible believing Christians support. Take a look here. This is clip 8.
There are two things that Donald Trump is doing. Number one, he's judging evil. If you look at what he's coming against, it all is in the category of evil. Why did he go to Nigeria? Because the terrorists were killing. Why did he bomb Iran? Because Iran said that they were going to create a nuclear bomb and kill Israel and the United States. So we're supposed to just let it happen? When you look at who he goes after the drug dealers. He goes after the predators. He goes after the You ready for this one? This is for your deeper audience.
Come on.
Let me tell you something. When I knew this man was being used by God, in his first term, I don't know if you remember this, the witches, the warlocks, and the abortionists all came together. And this is what they said, I quote, "We are asking everyone in the United States to join us on Facebook Live as we cast curses on the President of the United States and all who support him." It was a Facebook Live. It was nationwide. Told my wife, I said, let's see how stupid the preachers are on this one. Because the last time I checked, Jesus said Satan will never attack his own.
Come on now.
That's what Jesus said. And Jesus ain't never wrong. So if he said Satan will never cast out Satan, he will never attack his own. And then the people who represent Satan are attacking Trump. And then somewhere you got to ask the question is, well, maybe this Trump man is not of Satan.
Oh, my gosh.
See, but they don't think like that. They don't know how to think. They just go with their emotions and they go with their arrogance and their pride. Everybody thinks that they know what they're talking about.
Wow. All right. What did you think of that? He brought up some points that I had not even considered.
I mean, first off, there's a few pastors that are doing that. And I loved it. He said it so plain. And it should apply to everything. Like, we should be taking that advice, not just as it applies to President Trump, but us, but basic policies by what the news is doing. Who's for it and who's against it?
Mm-hmm.
If all wickedness is when they're for something that is evil, that you know to be sinful, to be vile, to be an abomination, why? And so I love that. You're right. Why do we have Wiccans? We have all this stuff coming out against him. Well, then why? Because he's fighting for policies that are true and that are good. So what side are we on? And I love that, because really for Christians, again, we're seeing this from different pulpits. Oh, and the person that I was referring to is that the bishop, Marianne Budd, who was, praying
right
on Trump for playing. She prayed for him to have compassion for the LGBTQ community, for immigrants and vulnerable communities. Why? From a pulpit and an Episcopalian person praying for the LGBTQ.
There's that compassion again. We were just talking about that too.
But this was perfect. If everything that's representing evil is against one person, I'm going to look the other way and say, oh, you might be onto something. Again, you don't have to agree with President. You don't have to like his personality. You don't have to like it. But when all evil comes up against him, when witches are praying against him and casting curses, and you're on the side of the witches saying, yeah, go ahead and curse him. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, we talked about this before on here, but when you see the cast of characters that are on the left, that are on in opposition of certain issues that we champion as Christian conservatives, I would not want to be a Democrat these days, folks. I really wouldn't. And I said this before, when we went to the Supreme Court to the rally to champion getting trans boys out of girls sports, what was a couple weeks ago, the opposition was full of weird oaths. I mean, when I tell you, it looked like, I say this often, it looked like the island of misfit toys. I mean, these were half naked people walking around. I mean, we're in DC in winter, so it was like 30 degrees. I was freezing cold. There were signs for the Church of Satan. I mean, these were the people that were doing counter protests to Riley Gaines, and our side was full of like pastors and Christians and moms with their pushing their kids in the baby strollers. And then on the opposite side, you got the Church of Satan. Something is wrong there, folks. Something is wrong with the Democrat Party. Something is wrong with the American left. Okay, I don't understand how people can still be on that side. And as he said, you have President Trump out here who is going after predators. I mean, that's one thing Pam Bondi's done right, and the DOJ and the FBI. They've been going. I've never seen so many stories of how they have arrested so many predators, how they have saved so many children that were trafficked. You know, the abortionists he's going after, you know, the doctors who are doing these trans surgeries. I mean, the list goes on. I don't care. I don't know how people can logically, realistically, morally say that they are in the Democrat Party these days. I really don't.
No, and it's just, again, this is like Mark chapter 7, verse 21 through 23. This is about the wickedness that's coming from the heart of man.
Yeah.
So there are those that are Christian and they don't even recognize wickedness anymore. Because anybody that is out there cheering this on and then cheering on cursing, like actual throwing demonic curses. We look at Tim Waltz, right? What did he get? He got an award in his own hall, and they dedicated the Church of Satan gave him his own plaque. And he didn't even have the notion to condemn it. It was, and I think on the plaque it says something like, Satan has a special place for you. Which
wow.
You got to look up that plaque. It's lovely. It's like sitting in their halls of Congress. It's something important. But the Church of Satan is rewarding people. When the Church of Satan starts rewarding me as a politician or as a preacher, there is a problem. When the Church of Satan comes out and it is, casting curses and rounding up, like you said, the cast of misfit toys, and they're coming up against something that rational people should realize is not normal. Like, just can we just get average, basic thinking people? It's not just Democrat or even Republican. It's coming down to wicked, far left wickedness. Because it's really taken over an entire party. Yes, but it's just far wicked. It's good and evil. This is good and evil. And so what I got out of what he said is the bottom line. When evil starts attacking in all forms, multiple different forms of evil start coming up like a gang of evil against one man or against one group, we should be paying attention and saying, what is God doing? That evil is coming against it. Because when evil comes against me, it's usually because I'm on the right track.
Yeah, you're right. And I liked what he said. I actually was not familiar with that scripture. But it is the Gospel of Matthew 12:26 says, if Satan drives out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then can his kingdom stand? Powerful word of God. And it like you mentioned, it's basically as he said, the facts matter. We had the witchcraft element, that's not symbolic. It's open. Self-identified witches and occult activists have publicly claimed to cast spells on President Trump. I mean, this is crazy, but again, we're here to stand against all of that. And again, the principle is simple. Evil does not undermine its own power. Darkness does not attack darkness, and Satan does not sabotage his own agenda. So when we see these things happening, that's a ding, 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 ding. Maybe I need to take a second look at this. Maybe I need to reevaluate my political views. Maybe I need to reevaluate how I see the world.
Yeah.
Because the world is showing me what it is. And it's just on us to say whether or not we are going to, adhere to the signs. It's basically what it is. God is telling us, really.
Yeah. But that's why I've said, I take a biblical worldview on a lot of things and we're in that end times where people are just lovers of themselves, where men are lovers of themselves, and they take a very selfish view, even biblically. They are selfish in what they believe. It's what I feel. It's all about feelings. Well, forget what you feel. I feel one way before I have coffee, and I feel a totally different way after I've had coffee in the morning. And usually everybody in my house can tell, oh, mom's had 1 or 2 cups of coffee. This is excellent. I'll talk to her now because I feel a certain kind of way before caffeine. I'm just going to let you guys know. Not a shit. I told you, caramel macchiato, anything sweet. So I feel a kind of way. But we're about feelings, and I don't feel that God really means this. Did he say it? Because if he said it, he really meant it. So that's why you have to have a biblical worldview. You have to have a biblical perspective on things, and take your feelings and set them to the side. Pray about it. Pray about, Lord, why do I feel this way? Is it that I have a compassion, a heart for those that, that are less than, a heart for those that are hurting? That's excellent. Let the Lord use you that way. But we have to stop approaching it and taking this, well, God didn't really, because you know who said that first? Satan. Satan was the first to say in the Garden of Eden, but did he really say? But did God really? And we're doing that now as men, and we're doing it in women as from the pulpit, which is, it's not bad enough that all of this wickedness has come against President Trump or anybody, any other real man of God or woman of God. It's that there are not enough Christians to even call it out. There aren't even pastors that say, well, I don't like President Trump, but I definitely don't agree with the witches that are there. They won't even do that.
Exactly.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Very good point. Folks, as you come in, please hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate the support. We are still at our goal to hit 20,000 subscribers. So please, as you come in, hit that like button and subscribe. All right. So we got a big day. I don't know. I'm curious to see what you all think. The Super Bowl is Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday is finally here. I'm not really a football fan. But the big thing this year has been the halftime show. So, as you guys know, the halftime show has been very controversial this year. They have a guy named Bad Bunny performing, and he is this pro illegal immigration leftist. He's a pro transgenders. He's just all over the place. Not many people have even heard of him, but he is scheduled to be the main performance for the halftime show. Are you guys watching? Let us know. I know we have some super chats here before we get into this. Let's see here. Butterbean with the $10 super chat says, a prayer, not a sermon. All right. Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Kung Fu CJ with the $5 super chat says, KJ, I was scared to pray for people. I prayed for 2 people who were in the hospital and both died. I get it. Wow. Yeah. Thank you for that, Kung Fu CJ. Yeah, just keep on though, because God's will is there.
Right.
Yeah.
I will be done. It's not always ours. Sometimes it's people's time to go home. Sometimes that thorn in the side doesn't go away no matter how hard you pray.
Right.
So remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. Are you watching? Are you a big football fan, Michelle?
We have watched the Super Bowl every year of since I was born. This is
Wow.
going to be the first year I do not watch it. It'll be the first year.
Oh, wow.
I was done. And as soon as they started bringing in Taylor Swift, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not a Swiftie. To all of you who are, I'll pray for you. But I can't. I couldn't. I was like, okay, this is getting weird. Super Bowl was going woke. It was just bizarre. And then Bad Bunny. No, under no circumstances am I going to support that nonsense when it's become a spectacle, not about sport. I like the sport. I like the players. And, it was what it was. Why we couldn't even just let football be football. And I used to love the Super Bowl. I'm tell you what, my favorite. So sound off in the chat. What was your favorite Super Bowl halftime? Because I'm just interested. But when Prince came out and it was Purple Rain and that stage lit up, oh my, y'all! I go back and I replay that. It was Purple Rain. It was my favorite Super Bowl halftime. So I actually love to watch it for the halftime show. I made wings, and I mean, like I would make 100 wings, maybe more. Because I was usually at a friend's house or party or even for my family. And this is just sad. And it's sick. This man has already said he's going to be wearing a dress. This is a gentleman that they chose. Of course, the Grammy knows who he is because he just was there dominating at the Grammys. But his music is only in Spanish. He says so many inflammatory things against the president. It's just, why pick one of the most divisive people you could find to be the head of the Super Bowl halftime show? Gross. I'm not giving them a dime. If that dime just means ratings, they're not going to get it from me this year and from my family and actually from friends of mine that are just like, no, we're not interested this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so bad that recently they did a survey of NFL players and they didn't even know who this guy was.
Yeah.
So this has been according to, I think it was Sports Illustrated. The Athletic polled 58 anonymous NFL players, and the results were 58.6% in favor of Bad Bunny performing and 41.4% opposed. But again, that's not really consensus. It's deeply split, that nobody knows who this guy is. When 4 out of 10 NFL players don't support the halftime headliner, that's not unity, it's uncertainty. And the Athletics Anonymous survey one of the people responded, said, they gave an anonymous quote to the Athletic, says, "I don't even know who Bad Bunny is," said on NFC offensive player. "I always think it should be an American. I think they're trying too hard with this international stuff." Wow. So Bad Bunny is from Puerto Rico. That's just so you know. So again, I mean, even though it's a small sample, because we know the NFL has over 1,700 active players, it does show that most people don't like this guy. A lot of people, I should say, don't like him.
Yeah, I don't even care, in Puerto Rico, he's American, then it's the territory, great, all that. But to sing, they intentionally pulled this stunt because he's openly wearing, I believe, a dress. He does that. So this is like, what boxes can we check in the woke category while President Trump is president? Let's get somebody who's going to support this trans agenda, or who's he's going to wear a dress on stage. He's only going to sing in Spanish for the immigration checkpoint. Check. Who's offensive in any other way. How about the audience? This is what gets me. Who pays for Super Bowl tickets? I promise you, if you pan that audience, and these are hard tickets to get, they are not going to be Bad Bunny fans. There's going to be a handful, and just like Kendrick Lamar, like, yeah, it was you can like it, not like it, but what about the people that were there in the stands, the ones that paid money and they're looking like they're not singing along? They made it seem like because we were watching and people at home were singing like this was a great thing. No, they could have done this. They've brought other artists on, other Latina artists. They brought in J-Lo was on there once. I think Shakira was there. Everybody knew who they were.
Right.
They brought in superstars. You bring in Aerosmith one year. You bring in, if you're just trying to change up the genre of music, fine, so be it. Bring a superstar. To me, you can give him all the Grammys you want to, but he's not a superstar to me. He doesn't say Americana.
Not at all.
And that is what football is. Americana. It's our sport. So again, this is bizarre. Not watching it. Bye. I'll be watching Turning Point.
Yeah, that's what we're on to next. So Turning Point USA, TPUSA is doing their own halftime show. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, or we should say seen the images. But there it is. They have an all-star lineup. You can catch this on multiple places: Rumble, Daily Wire, TBN, TPUSA, Charlie Kirk's YouTube channel. So pretty much everywhere they're going to be showing this, and they want this to take the place. So you if you're going to watch the Super Bowl, watch the Super Bowl, and then when it comes time to halftime, turn it off and turn on TPUSA. They are staging a rival, and they're calling it an all-American halftime show. Yeah. So, this looks like it's going to be pretty cool. They have a lineup. Headliner, of course, is Kid Rock. All right. He's going to be joined by Brantley Gilbert, Lee Bryce, and Gabby Barrett. It's being promoted as celebrating faith, family, and freedom. So, we're all about it, right? It is family friendly. They're saying values driven, halftime alternative. What's your thoughts on that, Michelle?
I mean, again, I'll be watching that, but the Super Bowl, I'd rather watch Anna Green Gables.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that used to be my show. Oh, I love Anna Green Gables.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna put something I used to watch before I watched this football. And somebody actually made a good point. Who somebody said that even though they always have celebrities, usually they're evil celebrities. Like the musicians they usually bring on are kind of wicked anyways. Right. And it's becoming more progressive. It's really not that family friendly more and more. And football's supposed to be a sport, family sport, right? We put our kids in it. We watch our kids in high school and then in college. So it's just moved away from family entertainment. So I'm going to be watching Turning Point. I'm happy that they're having something. And I have a feeling they're going to downplay that the Super Bowl is going to try to downplay this, but something says this is going to be massive. I think the viewership is going to be phenomenal, record-breaking viewership during the half. And they're the only ones I think that would be able to pull it off. The organization, Turning Point, is the only organization right here, right now, that could show them that an alternative can get just as good of ratings as what you think is going to be the number one watched show in the United States. Let's just see. I'm ready to see those numbers afterwards.
Me too. I am ready to see it too. I'm going to be watching it as well. Turn off the Super Bowl and turn on TPUSA. Indeed. All right, folks. Well, we are at the end of our time. I see a couple people are commenting on your Anna Green Gables comment. Oh my God. You all do not realize I was a huge fan of Anna Green Gables. Huge.
Gilbert Blythe for me. It was just real wholesome, and it was like this is what I love. So yes, I loved those shows. I loved Anna Green Gables. I like the books too. I have the book series. It's like Little House on the Prairie. Basically, I'm gonna watch anything but the Super Bowl. And I totally just aged myself. By throwing out Anna Green Gables, but thanks guys. And we watch YouTube. Thank you. They're gonna hook me up with my caramel macchiato. So I appreciate that. Guys,
all right, absolutely. Well, folks, we will be back. I'm not sure if we're going to be on for Sunday.
Super Bowl.
We're going to, we'll see. We'll see there, but definitely, if you haven't done so, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when we go live, and that way you know when we post new content. All right. We really appreciate each and every one of you guys. We do this for you. We do this for the community. We want to make sure people know that there are others out there like us that stand up for faith, family, and freedom. All right. Michelle, final thoughts for tonight?
I love this. I love being back, guys. Love all these comments. Billie Eilish, go ahead and give your mansion back. I see these comments in the chat. That was nonsense. Again, this is going to be an interesting weekend, but 250-year anniversary. This is setting up for one of the most amazing years that we've ever seen or will ever see in our lifetime. It's February. And so there's just so much more. Guys, be in prayer, be in good spirits, enjoy this weekend. You don't have to watch that halftime show. You can just be with friends, be with family.
Yeah.
Have a good time. And I look forward to seeing and chatting with you guys again, because this world is ever changing. But faith, family, freedom, yes, that's where I'm going to be.
All right. Well, you guys know what we're here to do. Stand on truth, speak life, and fight for faith and family. So until next time, keep your eyes on Christ, your heart rooted in truth, and your voice unshaken. God bless.